Web server or HTTPD. This lesson is very fun lesson because I promise you at the end of this lesson you're gonna be so proud of yourself that you're gonna create your own first website on your own server. So the purpose of the HTTP service or the web server is what? Is to serve web pages, right? Like Google, Facebook, Hotmail, or whatever the page that's out there on the internet. And even let's say if you wanted to sell something or you wanted to build your own website or even your profile website and you wanted to build it, you actually go and pay to companies like GoDaddy or Wix.com. But now you could actually have your own machine and you could build your own website and you could publish it online so people could see it so you don't have to pay it. But anyway, this lesson, the purpose of this lesson is not to tell you how to build your web pages and publish it and without paying or anything. But this lesson is just to tell you how web server works and how we could build a web page in a Linux machine. The service or package name that needs to be installed or running in our Linux environment is called HTTPD. The files or the configuration file of HTTPD is etc http conf/httpd.conf. This is the configuration file where you make changes, allow connections, run on a specific protocol, specify the user directories, and a bunch of information. The next file we have is var www/html index.html. This is your home page. Whatever the changes you make in index.html, this is what's going to show up on your home page. So the service to start a service or to restart a service is systemctl restart httpd. And to enable the service, which means if you want the service to restart or start when your computer starts, it's systemctl enable httpd. The log files is var/log/http. So this is the log file. If you are troubleshooting any issues, you could go into this log file and see why your server is not working. Anyway, without further ado, we will log into our Linux machine and we will start building our first page. And I will go into my machine. I got my IP address from my machine and I logged in already into our PuTTY session. So I'm going to go into my PuTTY session. Let's become root. We are logged in as root because I have the pound sign here. Let's clear the screen. Let's go back to our configuration. The first configuration file is, before we get into configuration, we need to make sure we do have the package for HTTP package. Yes, we do. See right here, this is the package. HTTPD CentOS. This one, HTTPD tools, there are additional tools that are available for this package, and this is additional package that you could install with it that gets installed automatically. Those are part of the dependency. Anyway, the main package, we are concerned with this package. If you don't see this package on your Linux machine, you will simply have to run yum install http. And it will go in and it will say, I found a package for you. Do you want me to install it? And you say yes, and you install it. By the way, since I already have it, it says no package HTTP available. Or I should have said D. And then it will say that package this already installed and latest version. So once the package is there, then let's go to our configuration file. cd etc http conf HTTPD. Sorry, this is HTTPD. Just make a correction. I have skipped D. So cd conf, and the configuration file is http.conf. So I will view this file and see if there are any changes that I have to make. For example, let's do more for this file. And anything that you see that starts with hash or pound, it means it's just a comment. So you could ignore that. And you could see right here, it says the root file system for this service is etc httpd, and it's gonna listen on port 80. What it means, every time you go to any website, all the websites run on port 80 or port 443, which is a secure website, which often prompts you that this is a secure website. Do you want to continue? And then you will say yes. So if you want to change this port to some other ports, then you have to specify on the browser URL, and that's how you get in. But anyway, this is a configuration file. And another file that we have to find is right here. It says document root. This is the one that I have listed here. It says var www/html and then the last file. This is basically telling me that the main page or the home page of your web server will be located in this directory. And there are many other parameters that you could change in this configuration file. The next, the home page file is the one that we have to go to now in order to start making our page. So we'll go to cd var www.html, and the file name is index.html. Let's do ls-ltr, and you will see here I do have a file name called index.html. If you don't see this file, don't get panic. Create this file from scratch, and you know how to create a file from scratch. You could do touch command or you could do vi command. When I first created this index.html file, of course there was no file existed in this directory, so I created from scratch. I have already some of the parameter sets and my homepage set in this file. So let's look at it. So I want you to do vi index.html and then hit enter. The first thing is, in your page you always have to type doc type space HTML, and HTML code always starts and begins with less than and more than signs. This is how it works. Now you notice you are learning HTML code. The next line you would have to specify that this is an HTML file. So HTML, open, close. The next line I have is body, what's inside or what shows on my home page. This is the body style, background color, light gray. This is the light gray color I want for my page. Then the next one I have BR. BR stands for break. I want a space. Then I have H1, which stands for header 1. I have in my header 1 style text align center. I want it to show up right in the middle. And welcome to my first page, and then you close the header. Then you have header 4. These are the different fonts actually. Header 1 would have a bigger font, header 2 lesser, header 3 smaller, and so on. And then on the second line I have my name is Imran Afzal. And break, 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 close the body, which you started right here. If you notice, you started the body right here. Now you're closing it, and you're closing the HTML right here when you started it. Every time you close these tags, always put the slash. Now, how do we know what type of HTML code we have to add more? That you have to go into HTML class if you really want to learn how to build your websites. But this is just a basic lesson that I want you to know if you want to get into IT, or that will definitely help you to get a job. So I have all that, and I want you to type everything that you see here in your index.html page. I have also copied this entire content to the description of this lesson. So you could copy from there and type it from there. Once you have it typed, then you could simply save and quit. Now, the fun part. How do we access that page? To access this page, you have to open up a browser to view that page, right? Okay, so how do we open the browser? You need to know the address, like you know google.com or hotmail.com. What is the address of this? Well, we haven't put in this address in a DNS. So then how do we access? We would access it through the IP address. And the IP address is 192.168.1.12. So let's take this IP address and put it in a browser. So I have browser here. I will put it this right here. As you could see right now, make sure you are putting this IP address on the same machine where you're running your Linux machine. So right now it's trying to connect and it is not connecting. I think I know why. Because every Linux machine by default runs firewall, and you have to have a firewall rules in place to allow port 80 traffic or simply disable it. I most of the time disable it, but again, depending on your company regulations and security policies, you should comply with that. But for this training, I would say go ahead and disable this firewall. So I will do system ctl stop firewall D. This is the name of the firewall service. You hit enter and it has stopped the firewall. By the way, I should have said that let's do the start. It will start, and before you stop it, just check the status whether it's running or not. And if you had run this command before stopping it, you would have seen that it is up and running. So that is why we are not able to get into our home page. So let's stop it now. Okay, it is stopped. Let's go back to your browser, and this time just hit refresh or F5. It is still not able to connect. Let's see why. We have stopped the firewall. Let's do ps-ef grep for firewall. It is not running, right? It's just grepping for grep. Then why it's not running? Think about it. I want you to think about it. Think like a system administrator. Why it's not running? Do you know why? Let's go back to our lesson. We haven't started. Right here, look. It says service. We haven't started the service itself. The service that's going to serve the page. The service that's going to take the request in, right? That service has to run to actually have the web server running. So let's go to our the putty session again and now start the service. System ctl, but before we start, of course, let's check if it's running or not. HTTP D. Inactive. Makes a lot of sense, right? Yes, it's dead. That's why we couldn't get to our Apache server. Okay, let's start it. It is started. Now, okay. Cross your fingers. Go to your web browser and do F5 again. Ha ha! We got our first page. Welcome to my first page. My name is Imran Afzal. Do you guys remember this is the same message that I have in my HTML text, right? If you don't remember, let's go back and do ls-ltr on our directory and you'll see do more on index and you'll see here, welcome to my first page and my name is Imran Afzal. This is the only 2 lines I have. There you go, right? So if you wanted to modify it, let's say vi and I'll say take out this text and just put I did it. Yay! No, it's yeah. But yay. Okay. Anyway, so you got my point. So let's save it. Okay. So now what you should see here. right? The message that we changed. So let's do F5. I did it! Yay! So that's how you create your first page.